Hey Beavers, this is DJ Orion from Exercise Caution, and you are listening to KBVR Corvallis.
Hello, hello, hello. Host, can I get you to say a few words?
Hello. Oh my God. Ooh. Hi.
Can you say your name?
No.
Hi guys, it's Music to Our Ears. It's Evangeline.
I'm Amergin.
And I'm Kaylene. I'm the producer that never gets to be on camera anymore.
Ow!
But, yeah, we're somewhere different today, y'all. This is
new.
This is new. This is different. This is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really hyped for us today because, one, we're talking all about Disney. I love Disney. Second of all... Okay, let me talk. Second of all, I am so happy to actually talk on this show. How are y'all feeling? What's both of your backgrounds with Disney? Like, where are we coming from here?
I guess I'll start. My background is I grew up in the 2000s. We had all of the Disney VHSs. We had, everything that came out of the Disney Vault, we had, right? So I grew up listening to this music, watching the movies. It's just kind of been a part of my childhood for a really long time. I think that's kind of a lot of people's background with Disney, especially over the past 30 years. Disney's just been this monolith of entertainment. It's just, Disney has been everywhere, which to be fair, hasn't always been the case.
True.
But like I said, the past 30 years, especially, just Disney has just become so massive and so much part of everyone's experience growing up. Which I think is for any media company, that's amazing.
Oh,
but
for
for
sure.
a company with, we'll get into it, a company like Disney, that's even more astounding.
For sure. How about you, Evangeline?
So my mom did not allow me to watch Disney growing up. I watched Disney in bits and pieces because at my grandparents' house it was on because my cousins watched it. But my mom wouldn't allow me watch Disney because one day she decides to walk in during Hannah Montana, because I did used to watch it. And then at this point it was a no, because I don't know, it was an episode where I forgot who was making out with who, but she was these are 13-year-olds making out.
Children.
This is, why is this live? Two, this is really bad for your development. You shouldn't think this is normal. It shouldn't be normalized. Also, she thought that they were kind of just baby prostitutes, so she wasn't happy about that either.
Honestly, fair.
Yeah,
not the best, but...
So PBS was my childhood, and I'm very happy about that. Love Curious George. Woo.
Love PBS. But yeah, Amergin kind of started getting into it, but we're going to start with just our general movie eras, because obviously we're a music show, but soundtracks for movies are a huge impact and part of it. Mm-hmm. So we're going to start with the Disney Renaissance. Started in 1989 with The Little Mermaid, and then ended in 1999 with the release of Tarzan. Lots of insane artists, or really icon. Alan Menken was running this era of music, which was really awesome, because he even comes back now and does movies like Tangled, which is I love Tangled. So, but yeah, you've got Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, Hercules, Pocahontas, Mulan, Tarzan. Renaissance era, the
OGs.
Yeah, because the whole thing starts with Little Mermaid. That's the first film that starts the Disney Renaissance.
Yeah.
And the story behind The Little Mermaid is it's very remarkable. Because beforehand, the Disney company was still reeling after Walt's death, which happened in, I believe, the early mid 60s. And the studio was having a lot of difficulty just trying to find its footing. It was just, the company itself just seemed very unstable, and it seemed like it was just going to collapse at one point. It was off the failure of The Black Cauldron, which bombed completely, and almost destroyed the entire studio. And remember, the Disney brand isn't just animated movies. It's live action movies. It's theme park. It's a large number of other media enterprises.
Yeah, it's a whole shebang.
Mm-hmm. And basically, it was up to Disney Animation to either prove that it could succeed, or it would just get binned entirely, right? So Jeffrey Katzenberg is brought on to Disney Animation to basically try to right the studio. And first film that comes out really with Katzenberg's direction is Oliver and Company. And Oliver and Company is, it's supposed to prove that Disney Animation, they can make like a bright, fun, modern animated movie.
Yeah.
Right? And a bunch of people who get brought in through the Disney Renaissance start with Oliver and Company. Ashman and Alan Menken, Howard Ashman and Alan Menken, are both brought in as lyricists for Oliver and Company. And Ashman has a theater background. He initially wrote, was it Little Shop of Horrors?
Yeah.
Right. Which, to be fair, didn't win any Tonys, but still had a pretty good presence off Broadway. So he got brought on and basically took the reins, him and Menken basically took the reins on The Little Mermaid, which went through a large number of revisions. And Katzenberg is also like very influential on this because Katzenberg is just a control freak. He wanted the film to be like, and to be fair, I mean, there's a lot to be said about Katzenberg. He's an like I said, he's an interesting guy, very egotistical. There's a lot to be said about him. But basically, they put their heads together and they make The Little Mermaid as this sort of direct stage musical, right? It's supposed to be take a lot of tropes and a lot of pulls directly from Broadway. And that's what Ashman is there to do. And that sort of starts this whole process because The Little Mermaid makes a ton of money. It wins a lot of awards.
Yeah.
And they go on to, after that, make The Beauty and the Beast, which makes even more money, gets even more awards. But the issue is that Ashman is dying. He is suffering from complications from AIDS, and he is involved in the pre-production for Aladdin.
Yeah.
But sadly dies during the pre-production process. And a lot of what he put into Aladdin gets thrown out, except for the 3 songs that the genie sings in all of them.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I actually didn't know that.
But all of them were, the songs themselves are kept, but the songs were also rewritten to basically fit Robin Williams' performance.
Yeah, that was a lot with Robin Williams, too.
Well, because Robin Williams was like he was the big pull for Aladdin. Katzenberg wanted to get a big name behind Aladdin because they didn't have one for Little Mermaid. They didn't have one for Beauty and the Beast. But they did have one for Oliver and Company. They had
Billy Joel.
Yeah. So he wanted to kind of recreate that success and have something more central to it, which is what Robin Williams was supposed to do. And, the Aladdin was, of course, once again, amazingly successful for the company. Despite, Robin Williams had a lot of issues with the representation, mainly because Aladdin pushed really heavily into the marketing, specifically around the genie, which Robin Williams did not approve of at all. And it's one of the reasons why Robin Williams never came back to work for the company. That's why, like, the direct-to-DVD Aladdin 2 does not have Robin Williams in it.
I wouldn't. If I wasn't listened to, I wouldn't want to come back either.
And the Renaissance really is basically Disney trying to grapple with Broadway tradition. After Ashman dies, Menken is still there. And Menken is a successful composer and lyricist and playwright in his own right.
Yeah.
But it's Disney basically trying to balance the sort of Broadway tradition that Ashman was really focused on versus the requirements of a film, which are different than a Broadway musical.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what you see over the Renaissance is sort of that evolution of what the Disney musical should look like. That's sort of the process going through the rest of the films.
Yeah, and I think they keep that theme, especially in the Renaissance, where you have like these really big dramatic number, like the one that's coming to mind is like in Aladdin, like Prince Ali, where it's like literally like stacks of animals on top of each other and like all these like people, and it's like it's very theatrical, but like in an animation, so you can like reach for the stars and have like an elephant and like a camel on top of that, and then like cows or whatever. No,
it's a massive. It's a show-stopping number.
Oh, for sure.
And I mean, you see that in the Broadway adaptations of Aladdin.
Yeah.
Broadway adaptations of all of these. Like Prince Ali is a massive song.
Yeah.
It's got everything you want.
And same with like Beauty and the Beast too. Like we're gonna be our guest for our radio listeners today. But that is another like you have all these animatronic artists or not animatronic, inanimate objects that are like dancing to a musical number, wherein if you tried to do that in real life without doing CGI, that's like kind of gnarly, but like they bring it to Broadway and it's like this massive, huge, like theatrical piece, which is like really cool.
Exactly. And another part of that sort of tradition is, of course, the structure of the songs, what songs are included. All of the heroes, the heroines in the Disney Renaissance films, they all have it's called an I Want song, where basically following the rules of theater, right? You speak until you can't use words to express your emotions, then you sing, and then you sing until you can't do it anymore, and then you dance, right? Yeah. So the idea of the I Want song is the protagonist basically screaming out their wants to the back of the room, essentially. And of course, all the Disney Renaissance films have them. Another one, though, is the villain song. Right?
Yeah, that's always a big one.
And the villain songs, especially in the Renaissance, are very interesting because many of the Disney villains in the Renaissance are queer-coded.
Yes.
Which is seen as Ashman, once again, trying to pull from his Broadway background. And like you have Ursula from The Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
She is almost explicitly modeled off the drag queen Divine.
Yeah.
Along with a number of other like female camp actresses, essentially.
Yeah.
And that role is like very important. And I think a lot of people, when they think about these movies, they think about the villains. They think about, all the fun songs and all the. I think a lot of people would say the villains have the best songs in a lot of the Renaissance movies.
I love like Be Prepared. You have a Hades song. I guess Mulan doesn't.
Hades is a Snap song.
Or no, what am I thinking of? Not Hades.
Gaston.
Yeah, Gaston. There's so many like. Oh yeah, Ursula's song. Maybe that's what I don't know how I don't know. But yeah, like, and there are also like these like such dramatic like displays. But also another thing that Disney did during the Renaissance and kind of something they like keep doing is they always bring in some sort of pop or like popular artists at the time to like record their big numbers, which is like kind of always my favorite thing to like Disney has such a chokehold on everyone that like they can ask like any artist and like they'll come in and like sing the song. So like when I was like researching for this, so Elton John does The Lion King, which like beautiful, like so well done. I'm so happy Elton John got brought in, but ABBA actually got to like the offer first, and then they were like no, and I'm like that would have been a completely different movie if like ABBA had done like any of the songs Elton came up with, which I just thought was like crazy. And then also like Matthew Wilder came in for Mulan, and like he's the guy that sings Ain't Nothing Gonna Break Master, and I'm like how like what like such like a dynamic like switch up between like genres, but Disney's like, oh yeah, no, come here, you're coming with us, which is like so cool. And then even also talking about Mulan, like Christina Aguilera did Reflection, and that was like kind of a big deal for her too, just because she was like very popular at the time, but to get that kind of deal with Disney after like coming back after, because she was on like Mickey Mouse Club like forever ago, but to kind of come back and do that, and Reflection is such a powerful song, like a pretty big deal for a lot of artists, but kind of all encompassing. We're talking a lot about the theatricals. And so we're going to take a really quick break. We're going to play a song from Beauty and the Beast called Be Our Guest. So if you've never heard it before, I don't know what you've been doing with your life.
You're going to hear it now.
But you're going to hear it now. So yeah, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with the show.
The Basic Needs Center is a resource center for students where we have a vision to inspire and nurture a thriving community. My role is to facilitate conversations where we have peer-to-peer conversations and work on like building strategies for the student. We have tons of programs such as our food pantry, our textbook lending program. Every Thursday we have a breakfast club where students are welcome to like make themselves a bagel or cooks himself some eggs. We do host cooking classes in collaboration with our dietetic interns, or we host them on a seasonal event. As long as you're an active student, you're welcome to utilize our resources and give access to our Corvallis community for our food pantries on Wednesdays. We also give volunteer opportunities where students can get to know us, get to understand how we function here at the Basic Needs Center. The community is outstanding. We all come from different experiences, and we share our resources just to build a strong relationship. Community is a basic need. Many of us aren't really familiar that how beneficial community plays an influence in our lives. Come by to the Basic Needs Center. We are a welcoming space. OSU funds us to support you. We also have an Instagram and a Twitter. It's at BNC@OSU.
Okay, we're back. So we did just listen to Be Our Guests to kind of wrap up the Renaissance. Moving on to our next era of Disney films, we have the post-Renaissance, which is basically the year 2000 to 2009, where you're not really seeing a lot of actual music soundtracks, just kind of releasing. I feel like it's a lot more kid movies, but also maybe just because I was a kid when they were released.
We were all children.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, basically. Quick studio run through here, I guess. Fantasia 2000 came out. Roy Disney basically bombed the film, which kind of destroyed.
I love that film.
It's a good film, but it didn't make back the money it was supposed to.
Real, that's true.
Then Brother Bear, then Treasure Planet, then Brother Bear, and then finally Home on the Range. And these 4 films, plus the fact that Pixar was kind of blowing up with 3D at the time, making huge returns, meant that everyone basically lost faith in Disney 2D animation specifically. And the thought here is that a lot of those films were purposely tanked by the studio because a lot of them were had overlapped release dates with other very successful movies. So basically Disney 2D animation was destroyed. Home on the Range was the last 2D film that was made by Disney Animated Studios until Princess and the Frog, which is kind of considered the last of the post-Renaissance films moving into the revival. And I think Prince and the Frog is one people remember a lot better because it's a good movie. It's a really good movie.
It was also super impactful because you never see Disney princesses doing their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was an independent woman. And she wanted to open a restaurant.
And what I love about it is that she showed that yes, you can be independent and do your own thing and have your own career, and you can also have a family and be married and things like that. And I feel it's often where girls are told they can't. Those are two exclusive things. You can't do both.
I mean, every other princess before that was Cinderella, where it was she worked in the house and then got saved by a prince, or Aurora got woken up by a prince.
Exactly.
Mulan did do her own thing though, so good job, Mulan. But
yeah, but then she had to give she kind of had to give it up in order to be with the guy.
Because in Mulan 2, she just I guess she still is a warrior, but
Mulan 2 doesn't count though.
But not as
True.
not the extent I think she wants to be. So
yeah, exactly. It's not she's leading the army she probably should be, But we also have we still have music, good music playing.
Amazing music.
During this era. Phil Collins comes back. Yes. Phil Collins and Mark Mancia, who both worked on Tarzan, come back for Brother Bear. But Phil, when he originally signed the deal, actually was told that he wasn't going to be singing any of the songs that he was writing. And he got really sad about it and was I love being here because I love singing the songs that I write. That's literally what I love to do.
That's why I'm an artist.
Yeah, why I'm an artist. So for him, that was kind of a bummer, but he still snuck his way on We Are Family or Welcome to Our Family, and was able to release the songs as singles, which kind of what I mentioned earlier about the pop stars releasing. Phil was just I'm gonna release my music.
It's mine.
I wrote it.
I'm Phil Collins. What are you gonna do?
I'm Phil Collins.
Try it.
Literally. But yeah, Phil came back, did a great job with that. Same with Mancia. Another Brother Bear is such a beautiful soundtrack. I study to that. Like, it's so, I love Brother Bear. Like, I'm obsessed with it. And then you even have films like Emperor's New Groove that comes out in that era. And like, they actually make it a joke that like, we're not doing a musical. Like,
right. They psych you out at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, they're like, opening musical number, like it's Kuzco. And then they're like, nope, that's a joke. We're not doing that. Not this movie.
Psych.
We're doing Buddy Cop animated movie.
Yeah, exactly. But it turned out amazing. Love it.
That's a good movie.
And then, back to Princess and the Frog. A lot of people have a debate, like, because a lot of people make the, like, eras of film based off of years, but then some people like to base it off of, like, what movies. And Princess and the Frog is one of those that kind of, like, teeters.
Came out, like, later, like, in 2010, right?
It came out in 2009. So, like, time-wise, it counts as a post-Renaissance movie, but as like a masterpiece. And like bringing back that Broadway that they did during the first movie or during the Renaissance kind of makes people want to put it in the revival. And like there's a lot of like hot goss debate about it.
It's a great movie. Let's leave it at that.
It is fantastic. And that's why we're going to play one of the songs for you because oh my goodness. Why not?
I'm so excited.
We talked earlier about like amazing like villain soundtracks or villain songs, and this one not being in the Renaissance, but like all they did was pull from the Renaissance for this movie. Of course, they had to make a banger villainous song. So we're gonna play "Friends on the Other Side," performed by Dr. Facilier. And another short break, and we will be back in a moment.
One thing I really love about my job is I get to work with a lot of different people and have a lot of fun with them.
Oh man, the bullpen, it's honestly my second home. It's always like something's going on here, it's always music playing, but at the same time, it's like that one big family feel here. So yeah, that's what the bullpen means to me.
It's a place where we like to foster a lot of our community, where you get to know people really well, a place to hang out.
What I like about OMN in general is just like, it's just like the community aspect.
It's just such a fun place to work. I always like to say it's the best job on campus.
It's like the one place like where like you could be like radio, work for a magazine publication, you can do everything and like it's kind of accepted and normalized. So yeah.
It's just so much fun. I can't stress that enough.
Why not work here? It's a really cool place to be.
And we're back.
Oh, cut me off.
Sorry.
Amergin.
Okay, we were jamming in here, to be completely honest.
Oh, yeah.
Such a great song. Evangeline, do you want to mention what you were saying?
Yeah.
Like during the break? Because I feel like
I was talking about how a lot of Disney movies, especially animations, aren't very location based. I mean, we know Belle was like in France and things like that. It's mentioned.
They're generic.
Yeah, it's mentioned if you go to like the actual parks, they like let you know, but you don't like know exactly where. You don't know the actual town. You don't know the region and whatnot. But in Princess and the Frog, it is so. It's like, it's you know where it is. It says it in the film. There's symbolism. It's during Mardi Gras. Where's Mardi Gras? New Orleans, baby. Where else would it be? It is so focused around like the actual culture of the city, and I think that's why the movie is so amazing and a masterpiece, because Disney movies before that never did that.
No, and I feel like it gives it kind of a home, like like a homey feel, because it's not like a princess in a far off land.
No, it's not like she wasn't born into like royalty, or she and things like
Tiana.
that.
She's
Tiana.
working for what she wants.
She's a humble woman.
Yeah, I love Tiana. But definitely like she kind of did wake up that revival, and then you go into your revival era itself, which starts technically in 2010 with the release of Tangled, if you're going by time, and then is still happening to this day. But again, another kind of like controversies or like opinions where people are deciding, is it really still the revival if we're in the 2020s? And but also like only like since COVID happened.
Yeah.
In 2020.
We kind of like skipped that time.
Yeah. So since we missed like at least a year and a half of films. And so that kind of put a damper on like a lot of those releases. So it's kind of like you do have a pretty stacked list for the revival, like Tangled, Wreck-It Ralph, Frozen, Zootopia, Moana.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I love all those movies.
Mm-hmm.
Am I too old for them? Maybe. I don't know. But like,
But
Are you a Disney
is a
adult?
no. Disney are here to they're here to make family films though.
True.
They're not here to make kids films. They're here to make families because you know what? Kids don't have any money. You know who has
does?
money?
mom and dad.
Yeah.
Mom and dad got money.
Got a lot of money.
Grandparents got
Ooh,
money.
money.
Like I think
Grandparents.
I know for sure I went and saw like Frozen 2 with like my grandma because she was like, what else are we gonna do on this like November morning? And I was like, I guess go see Frozen 2. Like, let's go.
Also, like Up felt like grandparent propaganda that
Yeah.
really felt targeted towards like grandparents,
It
which
is
I do not
Pixar,
mind.
though,
Oh wow! But I feel like that's the thing is like Pixar and Disney, you never really know because like
You definitely do, but
I feel like they're very intertwined with each other.
well, yeah, because like
they work together,
legally,
and then
but-
sometimes they don't, and it's like when do they really do?
Well, because they're like contractually, they're two very and
Sure.
they're two very distinct studios.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things between the two is it's like over time, because here's the thing, said it before, Prince and the Frog is like the last 2D animated film that Disney has made.
yeah,
Like the thing is Prince and the Frog made some money back. Don't get me like it made a decent
Oh, it
amount.
made a good amount.
It did not make what Disney needed for it to make to bring
Yeah.
back 2D animation.
Exactly.
Every film made after that has it kind of
3D.
ixed it,
Yeah.
which is why I think over time, like Disney and Pixar films have kind of become a bit more interchangeable because from a 3D perspective, they both look very similar.
yeah,
Yeah.
And this is something that people have brought up a lot about the Disney brand and Pixar is that they've kind of fallen into basically they've become so monolithic that they don't need to do anything to improve. They don't need to challenge themselves. They don't need to do
Yeah.
any of that. So a lot of their stuff is feeling very samey. And this is something that fans have expressed. This is something that like internal company memos have expressed. This is something that's known within Disney is that there is a stagnation going on.
yeah.
Because a lot of the revolution that we saw in the Renaissance, or speaking with Pixar, a lot of the revolution we saw in the first Pixar films that came out was based on the fact that these were companies that were fighting for space in the market.
Yeah.
Disney had active competitors in the film animation space, in the musical film animation space.
Yeah.
Anastasia was a thing.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
All the
God, that
Don
was-
Bluth films,
love it.
those were successful for a pretty long time.
Yeah.
Sony Animations was successful. But now that same competition does not exist anymore.
Exactly,
now
because
Disney
they
can-
own the market.
Exactly. Disney can just kind of do whatever it wants. And this is like, don't want to, this is like one of the big things with like the live action revivals, right? Which are, we can shake our heads and be like, oh, they're so bad. But it's like
Yeah.
they make a lot of money.
Yeah.
The only ones that haven't were the most recent ones were, what is it? The Little Mermaid did
Yeah.
not do well.
Yeah.
And Mulan did horrendously.
Yeah, and I think because
I don't think Mulan made its money back. I think Mulan
I
was
don't
like
think
a
so either.
lost
I
leader.
think that was like a whole thing with it
Wasn't
where they were
there
like,
something about the film that was like culture appropriation or something like that? That
I
people
mean,
were like the
yeah.
actress wasn't actually something like with the actress not being from like the actual origins.
Yeah, whenever you're doing films about different cultures, there's always something that comes
There's
up.
always something risky.
Yeah.
yeah, and I think also with like Little Mermaid, there was a lot with that too, because like the mermaid like obviously like doesn't have she's white in the animations, but like mermaids aren't real.
Also, in like the actual story, it's not like it's specified.
Yeah, they're not like the
Like
Grimm
this is what she
brothers
looks
were like.
No.
Well,
The
no.
Little
In the animated film, not in the animated film, in the original like Hans Christian Andersen story,
Yeah.
her being white is actually like a big like descriptor for her.
Oh, really?
Mhm. Her having like very white skin. Is,
I
like,
guess
specifically brought
yeah,
up
if
in the
you're living
story.
at like the bottom of the ocean,
True.
like,
No sun, baby.
no sunshine,
Melanin gone.
vetoed melatonin.
But this is like I think the issue is that when Disney starts taking Disney has started taking the issue of cultural representation more seriously.
Yeah.
Which I think has created some pitfalls for them. Because I think this is one of the big things with the live action remakes is that they are trying to go back and correct mistakes that they believe were made with the original Renaissance films.
Yeah.
But in doing so are leaving themselves open to more holes because what they're
Yeah.
trying to do is they are trying to describe and they are trying to add more detail to fairy tales.
Yeah.
And the issue when you try to do that is that when you try to logic your way out of a fairy tale, you end up creating more problems than you solve.
Yeah.
So-
and that's difficult.
As a viewer,
Mm-hmm.
would you prefer that it stays true to the film or that they continue what they're doing?
As a viewer, are you like with the live action films?
Yeah, with the live action films.
As a viewer, I would prefer those live action films did not exist.
Honestly, fair.
I would prefer that Disney flex its creative muscle
Yeah.
and make original stories.
Yeah, let's make, because like recently, like Strange World, like did either of you guys see Strange World?
Nope. Nobody saw
not.
Strange Worlds.
I saw it.
I've never heard that before.
It was like really, like Disney can make really good original movies. They're just like, I don't know if they're going through a slump right now, or maybe they're just like, yeah, like what you're saying earlier, like there's not enough competition, so they don't feel the need to like actually, you know, put out new stuff. But Strange World, I thought Strange World was really good. Like,
What is it? Like, what is it?
it's basically like, it's like this small family, and it's about like this world, like there's like this adventurer trying to get like this small town like more resources, because they're just like this tiny like blip. All they have is themselves, like no technology, no anything.
Okay.
And so this explorer like brings back this like technological advance, like it's like a plant that produces electricity.
Okay.
And so they start farming it. They got electricity, like all these things, a lot of metaphors for like
What's actually
industrialization
going on
and
right
stuff.
now? Okay.
But it turns out that they're living on like the back of a turtle. So like the old legends that are
is
like
so cool.
Earth is like a turtle, and we're just like moving.
Like we're just a bunch of little ants.
Yeah, and so
Okay.
it's like they go on this adventure to figure out why all their crops are dying, and it's because the electricity crop like thing is like a parasite to this turtle. And so the immune system is actually like, I don't know a lot of like, you'd probably know a lot more
STEM
about
major
it,
over here.
yeah, than I do, like just in terms of like the anatomy parts. But yeah, they have like the white blood cells that come and attack, or the
Wait,
red
that is
ones.
so
yeah,
sick.
but they're like creatures, because it's like
Yeah, it's a living thing.
yeah, and so it's like, it's really cool. I thought it was really cute. It's also like it has an interracial couple lead,
Love
and
it.
then also the son, he doesn't come out as gay, but has like a crush on a boy, and like
Wait, that's so cute.
that's a whole. It's like really cute, and I was like,
really lighthearted.
yeah, and it's not like. What I really liked about it was it wasn't like shoved in your face
No,
at all.
it's
Like it was like, this is a family, and like they weren't like, look at this, look at it, look at it.
And I think that's the biggest issue with these companies is they think, okay, in order to be like inclusive, we have to put in people's face. No,
No, you could just do
keep it
it.
real. Yeah, no, it like really, people just want to feel normal, and by you shining a huge spotlight on these like new things, it just makes people feel like, oh, okay, I'm literally just here to for them to make money. That's really it.
Yeah, it doesn't like help anyone, but
It's not genuine, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And I think that's the rough part.
And that kind of brings us to the Disney film that's about to come out. It brings us to Wish.
yeah,
Which Wish is very interesting because it's the 100-year film, right? It's the 100-year anniversary of the Disney company, so they got to pull out all the stops for it,
yeah,
right?
I'd hope so.
That's the
That's
concern
the
right
big
now is
plan.
that
Yeah.
a lot of people feel like Disney has not pulled out all the stops. Disney is placating. There are a few things in there that are like very interesting because it's following sort of more of a revival focus. From what we can tell, there's no love interest. It appears to be a sort of like,
Independent kind of thing.
I mean, it's group focused. There
yeah,
appears to be
because
like
she
a
has
lot
like
of,
a sidekick.
she has a sidekick because she has the star, she has the goat, and then she has like a bunch of other like friends that are like,
So like a hero kind of coming of age kind of theme. Is that where we're going
I
at?
don't think
It's kind of
so.
hard to tell.
Yeah,
Really? I have
'cause
not
we're-
seen any of the previews or anything
Yeah,
like that.
to be fair, we're making guesses here off of like 4 songs that have been released, plus like all the previews. But
yeah.
the songs that have been released, like they seem to be like the pivotal songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
They seem to be going for like a revolution type narrative.
Oh, okay. That sounds really
yeah,
cool.
because it seems to be like there's some sort of tyrannical leader,
Ooh.
and like the girl, like our main girl, I think her name's Aisha or Asha. I don't know.
How's
I know
it
it starts with an A.
Is it I?
No, it's not. I think
It's
No, it's
AIT.
I know there's an A. I know there's an S and an H and an N somewhere in there.
Ah. Anyways,
Just yeah,
this brave woman.
yeah, brave woman. It's like yeah, she like because yeah, it all has to do with wishes. I'm like yeah, I don't know how
That sounds
it's
really interesting. Like
Yeah.
wishing and then like revolution. Huh?
or like there's one part where it's like one of the things about it is that people have been asking for, okay, 2D. People have been asking for another 2D animated film from Disney.
Yeah.
So for Wish, they were like, okay, we're gonna do 3D animated characters and then 2D backgrounds, or like watercolor backgrounds.
Ooh.
And a lot of people have already from like the previews have complained that like, hey, this looks kind of garbage.
Yeah,
this looks kind of bad.
It looks like it's not done.
It does sound very interesting.
Yeah,
because this is news. I don't know any about this.
it's like very ambitious. Like I think it's ambitious, and I think
Like the creativity's there, but the execution's a little lacking, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, that's going to be the big question, whether or not the execution is there.
Okay.
Because the thing is, that's the thing. People have like, okay, when the previews for Frozen were first being shown, there were a lot of people who were like, this doesn't look like it'll be it. And then Frozen made $1 billion.
Yeah.
And then people were
The
like,
animation in that film is wild.
And then there were some people who were like, Frozen 2's coming out. Oh, it's a sequel. It's not going to, and then it made even more than the first movie.
Which is like, I mean, I really like Frozen 2, but like insane how much like that franchise is able, like just the Frozen movies alone can make. Because Frozen came out like even before like Zootopia and Moana, and like neither of those even made as much as it's
didn't come even close.
Yeah, which is insane that Frozen is the film that like like killed it. But
yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what happens, because I think a big thing here is also Wish seems to be trying to set up like some sort of meta commentary about Disney, like Disney fairy tales, Disney myths, which is what Frozen tried to do as well. That's Frozen's whole, not like focus, but like a large part of Frozen seemed to be focused on like trying to break the idea of like Disney princesses
Needing a man.
Yeah.
But also I really don't like how they also villainize them at the same time. Because I feel like that's not what should have happened.
What do you mean?
Like, because I mean, sure, girl boss, love her, right? Queen, yes. But like, why they have to villainize like the sisters' like
powers?
Yeah. It's just kind of like
they could have gone around. They definitely like do a lot better in the second film with being like.
Okay, so I haven't seen this second film.
The second film is really good. I think they do a lot better job at like addressing like, okay, Elsa was like kind of a villain, but she's good now. Like she's like adapted to her power. She knows how to handle it. She knows how to
control herself.
Yeah, and she knows how to like use it for the benefit of the town. Like they have like winter days like in the middle of spring, like stuff like that. Which is like really cool and like great for her to like, I think it's like a lot of like Frozen 1 is like both Elsa and Anna experiencing
like
film
kind of,
sorry, not film, fear. And the way like they both express that is very different. And
which I guess is like a valuable lesson in itself, is that people express things differently.
Yeah. But we're going to take a really quick break. Our next song for you, we did pick 2 villain songs. We're not biased here at all. But we do love our villains. We didn't talk a ton about Tangled, but Tangled is a great film. They actually brought Alan Menken back for Tangled, which was like amazing.
Good decision.
Best decision for them. Especially in that revival. But yeah, we love some Mother Knows Best. So here it is, Mother Gothel's single, Mother Knows Best.
Ow.
All right, we go live in 5, 4.
Ready, camera 2. And wipe it.
Welcome to KBVR TV. Come join our team.
But yeah, that was Mother Gothel's song, Mother Knows Best from Tangled. If you're watching the radio version, if you're going to see us on TV, I'm sorry, you're missing out massively.
Just put it like on a tab. Just put the song on the tab and listen with us.
Just pretend. But kind of switching gears, we've talked a lot about Disney movies, and obviously Disney is very like multifaceted and has a lot of different things we could talk about. We could probably spend a whole episode just talking about like Pixar alone and Disney and Pixar combined. But we're going to focus a little bit more on Disney Channel and like Radio Disney stuff, because our last episode was industry plants.
Ooh.
And I feel like Disney knew how to like curate those plants
in a way that you even realize.
Yeah, because as a child, you're just like, if this is like radio and stuff for kids, of course I'm going to listen to it. Like, it's made for me. But like the amount of things, like looking back on it, like were so like forced or just like not forced, maybe manufactured.
Oh yeah.
Like insane.
I mean, like these, like for example, Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
She started on Radio Disney, and then her music got so famous because obviously like kids that it got into like your regular old like FM radio.
Yeah.
So even if you did not have like what it's called XM that Disney radio was on, you would end up hearing it anyways on like the regular radio
because it
stations.
was such a pop sense, like especially when she was Selena Gomez in the scene. Like that was huge for like her for normal radio. And then since she started as a Disney Channel actor, like almost every actor had to sign some sort of contract that was like, you're gonna make music for us one day, right? Like please because we need that money.
We're gonna use you in all of your talents, even if you don't have them.
Even if you don't have them, we're still gonna use
manufacture it, don't worry.
We'll figure it out.
Auto-tune exists, babe.
Literally. I especially think like Hannah Montana is a big like
she's
and Miley
a
Cyrus
Nepo baby. And
double
an industry, double
whammy. Yeah, we've got Billy Ray Cyrus, who even got to be on the show, which I thought was like cool. That like
I think it made the show better, 100%.
Oh, for sure, because they were like actual
like
father
a
and daughter
show.
Yeah, because even my parents got in on like Hannah Montana. Like we would watch that as a family because they were like we listen to Billy Ray Cyrus. Like we know who he is.
Oh yeah,
and then you have him like having like a daughter on a show, and my dad's like, man, I have daughters. I'm just like him for real.
This is a relatable.
But yeah, like that was a whole thing my family could watch. And then Hannah Montana like is even kind of like is like an onion. Like
and
there's
then,
so many
Hannah
layers.
Montana movie. And then when she went on tour or something, do you guys remember?
Yeah,
that?
she actually went on tour as Hannah Montana. And
that was crazy.
Like insane because like she's a character, but then also bringing her to real life. And then Miley Cyrus also exists in the real world.
I mean, the same thing happened for the Jonas Brothers.
Yeah.
They started on a show. Do you guys remember their show was like a family
Jonas.
show? Yeah, Jonas. Okay, and then they went on tour,
Simply.
and then Camp Rock, and then it turned into this whole, and then they broke up. But that's a different story.
But they're back together now.
But
they're fine.
Yeah.
They beefed for a little. Did you watch? I watched the documentary. They beefed for a little, but it's okay. They're better now.
I actually knew a girl who went to like the Jonas concert or whatever, and she just
like recently.
No, like I mean like
I
as
almost went to them
kids,
like 2 weeks ago.
Like as an 8-year-old girl, and wow, everybody was jealous of her.
I was envious.
Was it in 3D?
Yes,
the
3D experience.
That's
I
what
have that on
remember,
DVD because I couldn't go to I couldn't go to the concert.
Your parents were like, "Sorry, but here's this DVD."
Yeah, we got the DVD. Gotta make up for it somehow.
That's like an artifact.
Yeah.
Like you can sell it on eBay for a lot of money.
For real. I bought like season 1 of Jonas, like the show. I found it at Goodwill, and I was like, "You're coming home with me." I was like, "This is a relic, and I need it in my life."
You just have like a Jonas collection at home.
I mean,
was that lore that we needed to unpack, or?
It's not as bad as it was.
It was a small shrine. It was hidden away.
It was a small shrine. Okay, it wasn't that. I had PJs with them on.
I had a blanket.
Okay, blanket's
man.
good.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I still had because I had it was like nightgowns were huge.
I had a Hannah Montana blanket too.
I had a lot of Hannah. Okay, I know we just talked about Hannah Montana. I had a lot. I was Hannah Montana twice for Halloween, I think.
As you should. I'm sure your parents are happy. Less money to pay on a costume.
True.
No, literally, I was like, I like for school, I was Hannah Montana, and then I didn't want to wear the wig anymore. So then when I was trick or treating, I was Miley Cyrus, and I just had my hair in like braids because I had brown or like
That is so real.
And I was like, she just like me for real. Like I am Hannah Montana. Like
I am her. She is me.
I am her. Like I had at least not to ramble. I had a lot of Hannah Montana stuff. I could talk
Honestly,
about a
good for
whole
you.
episode about it.
A whole Hannah Montana episode. How do we feel about that, y'all?
Hannah Montana only.
Only Hannah Montana.
Media to our minds.
Oh. Also, but we could do like a not like a crossover episode, but more of like an evolution of Miley Cyrus. So like Hannah Montana to because she has changed so much.
And is so
she's doing
big in the
rock
music
now.
industry too, with all of her different like.
But it's because she's so talented. Like she's one like industry plant, Disney actor, whatever you want to call her, that is actually so talented because she can do like any genre ever.
Yeah. She's truly amazing.
Also, she's like related to Dolly Parton. So are we surprised? Not really. Also, Dolly Parton has a rock album now. Hello. She's following in her granddaughter's footsteps, apparently.
I guess so.
Anyways.
Yeah, we mentioned like the Hannah Montana movie, and like DComs and like the Disney Channel original movies are a huge part of like the music aspect. Like when High School Musical came out, I mean, the chokehold it had on us as children. And then we already talked about like Jonas Brothers and Camp Rock. Like Camp Rock wasn't as cool to me because I think I felt I was too emotionally attached to High School Musical, and then I was like, I think High School Musical 2 came out like the same time as Camp Rock, or like the summer before or after. And I'm a High School Musical 2 girly. Like I will defend that movie to my grave. I love High School Musical 2. If you notice, I kind of like sequels.
I loved Camp Rock though, just because I felt like it was like an edgier High School Musical.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that's why I liked it so much. Like the competition movie. Is it the third or the second one? Where it's like the camp opens up across the street.
I think that's the second one, isn't it? Yeah.
The soundtrack for that is so good. Like Bring the Fire. Are you kidding?
It's really good. Yeah, and especially since you do have that like competing school, it does like
so good.
And since they were like professionals, like
exactly
that
also,
sound
like,
quality,
the dancing, because like High School Musical is more like an actual musical. Right?
Yeah.
Camp Rock is like entertainment. Like these people are going into like industry.
Yeah, like they are singers, they are dancers, they are music producers, like, and they can just like
it's like multifaceted, which is why it's so like good and entertaining.
And it's a little more real than like
it's a little bit more believable.
You know?
Nah, I gotta love the fun of the musical though. That's the thing. Like, I don't know. High school.
It's nostalgic.
It's nostalgic. It's time and place. Yeah. Like High School Musical 2 was the first one I watched. I actually didn't watch the first one for a really long time.
What?
Until they did like, because Disney did like a whole running premiere for like the third one, where it was like 7 hours. It was like 7 hours of High School Musical back
during
to back.
The summer.
Yeah. They're like, we got it. The third one made me so sad. Like
when they're graduating, dude, like the last like number, when it's like the curtain, I was like, man.
Yeah. It was a lot. Like I didn't like a good chunk of the movie just because they like, I don't know. I think because like they like upped the like video quality, but like I was like, this is kind of a lot. Like when they did like the whole entire like third act being like the school play or whatever, like.
Okay, but the songs in that school play were so good.
True.
Like when the exchange student like fights with Sharpay, that was so good.
She kind of killed it. And I do love like the replacement arc that like, cause like, it's like the foreign exchange student for Sharpay, like literally stealing her like mojo. Literally. And then like
Sharpay
the geeky,
like remembering herself.
The geeky like lookalike for Troy. That's just like, like, he's just like not cool. Like neither of them are cool like the originals at all. But it's so funny to like, they're like, oh yeah, these are the ones taken over.
It was like the most entertaining one, I think, because that's like because I feel like anytime they introduce like a rival, like a real rival, that's when it just gets super interesting.
Yeah. As we're kind of coming to a close here, what are like just overarching like, how are we feeling, like reflective? How are we feeling about like Disney now? Like Or like, yeah, any like big like thoughts?
Disney needs to do a lot of soul searching, like as a company, I think.
Yes.
This is something. This
better.
Was, they're
Literally.
on their 100th year anniversary. Disney has gone through a lot as a company.
Yeah.
And I think right now they have a lot of projects that are kind of failing. They're
they're just failing in general right now.
Yeah, they're still big. They're still all the Marvel stuff after Endgame has just been progressively going downhill. The animation has been, the money's coming in, but it's not coming in like it used to.
Mm-hmm.
And the awards aren't coming in like it used to, which Disney cares a lot about the prestige of awards.
Oh, for sure.
It was Bob Iger, who's the CEO, basically said like, we have lost some focus as a company.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where Disney is at right now. It needs to be looking towards the future and looking towards creating something new rather than constantly trying to recreate the past.
Exactly. Yeah, that's where I like what you're saying with like live, or what we were saying about live action is like, let's make some new ideas before we start like literally scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
But we only have, or Evangeline, any like last minute?
I have not always been a Disney fan, and I don't think I ever will be. But I will say, just from what I'm hearing about the company, like on the news, do better, man. You've been doing this 100 years, and you're having these issues. Do better.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But this does kind of wrap up the end of our show. I think that's the camera that's looking at me. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for watching Music to Our Ears. This is our season finale, but we will be back after our winter break. We'll be back in January with a ton of new episodes for you, so be sure to tune in. Again, thank you for watching.
Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
Happy holidays.
All the things.
If you're a student, don't fail your finals. This is a bad time to do that.
You got this.
Alrighty. Again, thank you everyone, and have a great
break.
Whatever
it is.
Have a magical evening.
Magical evening.
I think we're done now. Okay.
There
All
you
right.
go. And
Bye, y'all.
bye.